Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue with the poem A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats, and this is page number 98 from the book Flamingo. Now, this is a very important poem and it is very nicely written by John Keats. John Keats has imagined that he was actually searching for his beloved and maybe moon goddess, that is Cynthia. And when he was in the forest, what kind of things he saw, what he actually imagined, what he actually felt there, what was his perception, this is described in the poem. And we have already read that according to John Keats, a thing of beauty is actually a joy forever and it never fades, it never goes into nothingness, it never, you can say, end. It is a perennial source. According to John Keats, natural beauty or things of beauty, they are perennial or permanent source of joy and it never fades away. And then he says that every morning we actually try to get connected with the natural beauty. And then he says that there are so many negative things, which actually make our life sad, disappointed, and so many bad things which make us feel as if we are sad, that we need a kind of strength to live. We need a kind of, you can say, support system. And then he says in the second paragraph that there is jealousy, hatred, maybe disparity, or maybe happy hopelessness. And we actually are human beings. We lack human qualities, and there are, you can say, lack of noble natured people on this earth. And then he says that there are some sad moments in our life which actually make us sad, and there are so many other things also, like all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, evil ways that we have searched, that we have actually got today to earn money. All these sad things, all these negativities actually made us for our searching. Made for searching means that is why we actually try to get connected with the nature. That is why we need some help, some support to survive. And then he says, in spite of all these shapes of natural beauty, these beauties, they actually moves away the pall from our dark spirits. This is very important line, because according to this line, in spite of all the bad things, all the negativities which are actually there available, or which are there in on this earth, some shapes of beauty actually moves away the pall. Pall here means the covering. In spite of all the bad things, there are shapes of beauty which are provided by God, by natural beauty. These beauties of nature, they actually take away the sad covering from the hearts, from our sad hearts. The sad thoughts can be driven away only with the help of natural beauty, with the help of nature. Then he says, now he actually makes a list of all the things which are beautiful, which are actually called as the natural beauty. So he says, he makes a list, and this is the list. According to John Keats, the sun, the moon, the trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. According to the poet, the sun, the moon, and trees old and young. Now, old and young, why old and young are used here? These are opposites of each other, and when these kind of things are generally used, it means it is a poetic device, that is antithesis. So he says that sun, the moon, and the trees means these are the symbols of natural beauty. They actually provide us a perennial, permanent beauty which gives us joy and pleasure. These things sprouting here means producing or developing. These things, these beauties of nature, they develop a shady boon. Now shady boon here means, shady means a convenient, comfortable atmosphere, and boon here means blessing. So, according to the poet, these things, sun, the moon, the trees, they actually provide a kind of blessing for simple sheep. Means these natural beauties are actually a sort of blessing for simple sheep, means for each and every human being, for for an ordinary being on this earth. Everybody, means every animal, every creature, he or she or it has got some kind of, you can say, some kind of beauty, some kind of enjoyment, some kind of pleasure given and provided and developed by natural beauties like the sun, the moon, and the trees. And such are daffodils with the green world they live in. And then he says that not only all these things are actually full of beauty, not only these are the symbols of natural beauty which provide, you can say, beauty, or which are proved to be blessings for a simple sheep, means for a common man or for a common ordinary being, creature. And such are daffodils. In this list we can add daffodils also. Daffodils here means it is actually a kind of flower, a very beautiful flower is called as daffodil, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं नरगिस के फूल. So he says such are daffodils with green world they live in means such beauty lies in the flowers which are called as daffodils. And these daffodils, they actually live in the world of green, means in the green world, means in the forest. They live in the forest, they grow, they bloom in the forest, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. And then he says the same beauty lies in clear rills. Clear means transparent, rills here means small rivers. Rills means small rivers, or maybe brooks, or maybe streams. So small river or brook or stream, they are, because they are having transparent water. Clear means very clean, there is no dirt, and they are very clean and clear and transparent. So he says that the same beauty lies in the rills, in the small streams, in the small rivers or brooks, that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. According to the poet, these clear, transparent, watered small rivers, small brooks or streams, they are actually, you can say, they make a kind of cooling covert. Covert here means thicket. Please underline this word, covert, covert. And covert means shelter of bushes. Bushes means jhadiyan, or thickets, thickets. Thickets or bushes or covert, they are one and the same things. So he says that these beautiful rivers, they actually want a shelter from the heat of the sun, because here what is written, against the hot season, means just to fight, just to resist the heat of the sun, just to resist the heat of or radiation of the sun in summer season. These rivers, they actually have a kind of shelter which is given to them by the covert. Covert here means by the shelter of bushes. Under these bushes, under these thickets, they actually make a cooling atmosphere for themselves, because they need that shelter, they need that shade under these thickets. The mid forest break. Then he says that the same beauty lies in the mid forest break. Break here means, again, break and covert is one and the same thing. So covert का meaning क्या था? Thickets or bushes. In the same way, mid forest break means the same beauty lies in mid forest, means in the middle, in at the center of a jungle, at the center of a forest. The same kind of beauty lies in the breaks. Break here means the thorny bushes. Thorny means kantili jhadiyan, thorny bushes. So break here means thorny bushes. So the same beauty lies in the thorny bushes, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Means this beauty lies with the forest break, means the thickets which are found in the forest, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Rich means which are full of, means the middle of the center of the forest that is full of sprinkling here means because a lot of musk rose blooms, musk rose blooms here means flowers. So beautiful flowers, musk roses, they are to be found and they are spread everywhere in the forest, and they are also found amongst the thorny bushes. Among or maybe surrounded by the thorny bushes, we find a lot of rich means colorful, beautiful musk roses are to be found everywhere. Blooms here means flowers, musk rose is a kind of flower, and sprinkling means they are spread everywhere. Means in a forest, in the center of the forest, we can find a lot of beautiful musk roses which actually blooms, which actually would grow and develop among the breaks. Among the breaks means among the thorny bushes. And rich here means they are colorful. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. This is again a very, very, very important line, because what is said here, John Keats actually wanted us to see that all these things are actually beauties of nature. They are the sources of nature. Sorry. But he says that all these things, what that we have already listed, and what are these things which we have listed? The moon, the sun, the trees, old and young, then daffodils, then simple sheep, then clear rills, means clear watered or maybe transparent streams. Then he says coverts, means shelter of bushes or maybe thickets or musk roses. All these things provide us perennial permanent beauty, and they always provide us with pleasure and enjoyment. Now he says, and such too is the grandeur of dooms. Now this is very, very important word. What is the meaning of grandeur? Grandeur means great, or maybe magnificent, or maybe glory or beauty. So he says that, and such too is the grandeur, means according to the poet, all these beauties of nature which are listed above, they also have the same kind of beauty as we would be thinking about the beauty, about the greatness of the doom. Doom here means about death. Now, this is again very important. According to the poet, according to John Keats, all the things of natural beauty, they provide us shelter from the sadness. They actually are continuous or maybe perennial source of joy. In the same way, maybe we would have imagined some kind of beauty, some kind of greatness for the death day, for the destruction, for the tragedies that have, you can say, been faced by the dead people, by the great people. Means we have imagined for the mighty dead. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty here means powerful, and dead means the dead people. Maybe for our ancestors like Maharana Pratap, or maybe Shivaji, or maybe for somebody else, maybe we actually imagined great deaths for these people. We imagined, you can say, great end, magnificent, glorified end for these people. But according to the poet, all these things can not surpass the beauty of nature. According to the poet, maybe we would have imagined great past. We would have imagined great stories. We would have imagined great life and death stories for our ancestors, for the people who actually had a great past. But he says all these tales, all these lovely tales, tales means stories, all these lovely tales that we have heard or read, means we would have heard or read so many tales about the greatness, about the grandeur of the death, or maybe we would have imagined great past of our ancestors, of the people who actually had tragic deaths. But all these tales can also not surpass the beauty of natural beauty. Means nature has actually such a beauty which cannot be compared, which cannot be contested with anything, because natural beauty is the best according to the poet. Then he says, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens bring. Now he says that endless fountain. What is that endless fountain? According to the poet, at the brink. Brink here means at the edge. Brink means edge or corner or slope. So according to the poet, at the edge of the heaven, at the edge of the heaven, यहाँ पर लिखा है देखो, heaven's brink. Brink here means at the edge. Then he says heavens. Heavens means maybe from a place which can also be, you can say, called as great, unearthly. So from the heavens bring, from the paradise जिसको हम स्वर्ग बोलते हैं, so from the paradise brink, from the paradise, you can say, edge, according to the poet, there is a endless fountain. Endless means there is a fountain which is having continuous flow, which is never going to end. So there is an endless fountain. Fountain पता है? फवारा. So from this fountain, from this endless, continuous, everlasting fountain, God has provided us an immortal drink. Means God has created a fountain, and this fountain is actually at the edge of the paradise, of the heaven, and from there is an immortal drink. Immortal means which is never going to die, which never ends. So there is an immortal. Immortal here can also mean nectar. इमॉर्टल ड्रिंक मीन्स नेक्टर, जिसको हिंदी में अमृत कहा जा सकता है, या एलेक्सर इन इंग्लिश, ELIXIR और NECTAR, नेक्टर. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द पोएट, फ्रॉम द एज of the heaven there is an immortal drink, there is an elixir or nectar that is actually pouring unto us. Pouring means which is being provided, which is actually thrown, which is actually poured unto us, means towards us. Unto us means towards us from the heavens brink. So in these two lines, what actually is said by John Keats? John Keats thinks that natural beauty means all the sources of beauty like flowers or sun, moon, or maybe beautiful musk roses or daffodils, or you can say trees, whether old or young, or sun or moon, or all these things, or beautiful cleared water, rivers, they are source of natural beauty. And this source of natural beauty is actually providing us, the human beings, with an endless immortal drink. Means this natural beauty has been compared, it has been called as immortal drink. It is actually a nectar that is poured unto us, towards us, from the edge of the paradise, from the edge of the heaven. The God has created a fountain which is pouring towards us the beauties of nature, and this natural beauty is an endless provider of, or a source of joy and enjoyment and pleasure to us, which never ends. So this is the end of the poem. In the next class, we are going to have some of the questions, some of the poetic devices. Till then, please keep watching the videos, please read these poems and try to get an idea what is written by John Keats in this poem. I hope you would have got an idea. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay back home.